Hi, welcome to the BariNation podcast, where we support the bariatric community with humor, humility, and honesty. Jason and Natalie are going to join me in just a few minutes on this recording, but we are thrilled to be bringing to you a new type of podcast. It's not a huge departure from what we normally do, but in the BariNation membership community, we have an opportunity to interact with people in every stage of the bariatric journey. People who are just thinking that maybe they might have surgery, people who are in the pre-op process, who have a surgeon, right, who are going through all of those steps that it takes to get approved, people who are newly post-op, people who are 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years post-op. Every stage is represented in the BariNation membership community. And a few weeks ago, we had some really insightful questions come to us from current members of our community. And these members are in the pre-op stage. They're nervous about what life is going to be like after surgery. They're worried that they are not prepared for surgery. They just had a lot of questions and they brought them to us. So today you are going to hear our answer to one of those questions that was brought forward by a member of our community. And this person wanted to know if there is a right time to have surgery. Jason, Natalie, and I took some time to really reflect on that question, and we offer you today our thoughts on that question from our lived patient experience. We will continue to bring you some of these amazing questions and our answers as they come in from our community. But just know, you're never alone along this bariatric journey. There is a community of people who are excited to connect and welcome you into a safe place where you can answer these questions. What you're going to hear today, again, is our live patient experience. Always consult your care team, your surgeon, right? Those people that are really in your corner helping you make the decisions about your future as a bariatric patient. But know that we take our role as patient experts really seriously, and we are excited to share our lived experience with you. So in this episode, you're going to hear what our answer is to that question. Is there a right time to have surgery? And hopefully you'll leave with some new insights about how you could make the decision for when the best time for you to have surgery is. Happy listening and happy watching. We are kind of continuing this series about the questions that our members send us in the BariNation membership community. This question came in from one of our members that is pre-op, and we thought it's such a powerful question that we should record this for a podcast just to kind of share our patient experience when it comes to this question. So our member asked, is there a perfect time to have surgery? The short answer is no. The longer answer we will kind of get into, but it's a question that we all ask ourselves, right? Because we make the commitment to have bariatric surgery, we go through the pre-op process, and then, oh my gosh, we have a date. And many times we are instantly met with like, oh, I'm so excited. Oh my God, I'm terrified though, because right, there's like this coming up and this vacation and this celebration and this and this and this and this and this, right? There's a lot of stuff that happens. So today we're excited to answer this question for you. Is there a perfect time to have surgery? Right? The answer is no and yes, right? So Jason, why don't you start us off? What would be your answer to this member's question?
The first thing is the word perfect is always the qualifier here. And there's nothing perfect about the journey of this that we're embarking on at all. And I believe thinking that there is a perfect time is as much a fallacy as everybody's goal weight that, I'm just going to lose 200 pounds and everything's going to be fantastic and it's going to be good rainbows and gumdrops and nothing bad's ever going to happen. The perfect time is when you decide, is when it works for you, when you've had enough. There's going to be a clarity that comes about you when you're just like, yep, it's time. This is when it's time to go. I thought about it for 5 years before I actually had the surgery. And when I look back now on that time frame and say, should I have had it sooner? You know, because everybody, you always hear somebody say, oh, if I only would have had it sooner. My take on that's a little different than most people's, because I know how defiant I was in my mind 5 years prior to when I had surgery. You couldn't tell me anything. Nobody, I knew that I was good because my totality of circumstances was I didn't have diabetes, so I was healthy. My A1C was 5.8 and climbing, but I didn't have diabetes, and my doctor never said I was even pre-diabetic. So take that. And that legitimately was my stance on how much I ate, what I ate, when I ate, you know, all that stuff. So in my, like the mindset I was in at the time, you could have given me 3 surgeries back to back, and I would have found a way to out eat all of them, because that's just the mindset I was in. Nobody was going to tell me anything. So for myself, waiting until there was really that clarity in a moment that said, you know, that I legitimately said, okay, cool. Now I know it is time for me to do something, because I was running out of time, because my doctor, you know, I've said this a couple times in the past couple of days to people. I wouldn't be here right now, I don't think, had I not had the surgery when I had it. Because at 44, I was actively dying, and I don't think I would have made it to 48 like I am sitting here with you today. So there is going to be something of a clarity that happens. Something is going to happen where you're just going to click, and you're going to be like, okay, it's time. And honestly, like, that's the only thing I can say as far as like perfect goes, is that is the time that you're going to connect and say it's time.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about you?
Definitely similar to what Jason said. I know for me, I've said it before, I've had 3 bariatric surgeries. And this final time felt, I'm not going to say it felt more like my choice, but it felt like I'm an adult. I'm able to understand and comprehend what I'm getting into, which also, I think, scared me a little bit into thinking, maybe this isn't the perfect time. What am I doing? You know? So I felt educated for the most part. I also had help. My parents were able to help me. I went to Mexico, and they were able to help me get there and help me have the surgery financially. So I had that help. And Instagram, the community was taking off in ways that it had never before. And so I felt, while scared and like it didn't feel like the perfect time, because also my grandma had just passed. It just was like, and it was the pandemic. It was 2020, June of 2020, when I decided to have surgery. So a lot of things working against me, but I remember feeling like, wow, I found this amazing surgeon. My parents are able to help me. I'll have a place to stay that is comfortable and with help. There's this awesome Instagram community. There's podcasts like OG East to West and our Sleeve Life podcast. They both launched around the same time. So I remember feeling like, wow, I have resources. There are all these books now. And it just kind of felt like I was capable. I think I was always capable of doing it, but it really felt like, this sounds woo-woo, but it almost felt like the stars were aligning. Like, this is your time. And I've talked to several of our friends, several other bariatric patients who really felt the same way, where it was like, yeah, I have things working against me, but I also have like all of this support, and I have resources, and finances are working out. And to me, when I had that conversation with my mom, she was kind of like, it kind of feels like now or never. And I know that sounds like a really drastic thing to say, but at the time, it really felt that way. And I was unemployed. I, was looking for jobs. I mean, there was so much trying to derail me from doing this. But I just felt like I felt prepared. I felt ready as I could ever be. And because of that feeling, because of that mindset, and knowing that I had a support system, I did it, right? Like, I was 403 pounds. My surgeon required me, it was a do or don't requirement to lose 50 pounds before my surgery. And I did that. I don't think I could have done that if I had pursued this, a couple of years prior, like I had been trying. And so there's no real perfect time, like we said at the top, but it was almost like I just felt capable. I had the resources, I had the support, and I did it. And that's why it was the perfect time, because I had enough to get me through to where I wanted to be.
These questions that we're sharing here on the podcast, right, they come into us through the community, and we've had the opportunity to answer them a little bit more in depth in the community. So if you want different perspectives, or you want to hear more about this, join the BariNation membership community so that you can access kind of our one-on-one take to these, because our personal stories, they need a little bit more time than just a podcast format. So if you want to get to know us a little bit more on a personal level, join the BariNation membership community and check out our individual responses to these questions. Because, right, we're all saying these nuggets, and I'm like, oh yeah, you talked about this, you talked about that. Yeah. So shout out BariNation membership community. My answer to this member's question was, right, the perfect time is the time that your surgery is scheduled. And how I guess can say that confidently is, before I made the decision of bariatric surgery, the last diet program that I did, it was very prescribed, right? And you ate certain foods, and you had a once weekly check-in, right? There was a lot of things that you had to do to participate in this diet program. And when I made the decision to do this program, I went in for my initial consultation, and my coach, or whatever she was called at the time, was like, okay, you're going to start on July 1. And I was like, ooh, yeah, I can't do that because I'm going on vacation. And she was like, oh, well, are you going, like, do you have access to a microwave and water? And are you taking a bag? Like, can you bring the food with you? And I was like, well, yeah, I can, but like, we're going to be doing all this stuff. And she was like, right, but you can still do this on vacation. And I was like, no, I can't. Like, I'm going on vacation. And she just deadpan, just stopped me on my tracks. It was like, so are you going on vacation to eat? And I was like, oh, you about to lose your life now, right? Like, how dare you? But that question, right, like, stopped me in my tracks, because she was right. There was no reason that I could not commit to this, that I couldn't do this while on vacation, right? Like, the point of vacation was not to go and eat. The point of vacation was to go and see things and do things. But she very instantly was able to kind of show me just how important food and eating was in my life, and that was actually paramount. And it was in that moment that I realized, oh my gosh, this is way bigger than what I thought it would be. Right. So my answer, my response to this question is, there's always going to be something ahead in your life that is going to be something that you want to participate in the current reality that you're living. There's always a birthday, there's always a vacation, there's always a celebration, there's always these things, right, that are coming up. So if you continue to delay surgery because of something that's coming ahead, you are always going to be delaying your surgery. And then a year is going to go by, and you're going to go, oh my God, nothing has changed, and I'm in the exact same position that I was a year ago. We just can't keep delaying this. And the life that awaits you after surgery is so different than the life you're currently leading now, that this change in how you celebrate or how you vacation is for a few months. These few months to prepare for and go through and recover from surgery are going to be worth it, because the life that waits for you on the other side is so vastly different and bigger and bolder and just more available to you than the life that you have now. So if you keep kicking the can down the road, you just keep kicking the can down the road, right? If your surgery center says, nope, this is your surgery day, really consider that the day. And we know that there are things that you absolutely need to consider, right? There's childcare, there's care for yourself, right? There's other things that are happening, right? Like in your world that you absolutely do need to consider. So that's not what we're saying. But what we are saying is that, right, if it's vacation or if it's a celebration or if it's something like that, in my personal opinion, that is not a reason to delay or postpone your surgery. Go forward boldly and with confidence and have your surgery and just celebrate differently this little tiny moment in life. Because in the grand scheme of things, it's going to be a blip. It's going to be a total blip.
Yeah, because I started to push my surgery date because we were going to have a potluck at work. And it was like our American backyard potluck. So there was going to be like burgers and ribs and hot dogs, and everybody was making all this amazing food because I saw the list. I was super excited. Then when they told me that my liquid diet started that day of the potluck, I was like, I can't do that. But that's how I knew, like, because in my head I was like, oh, wait a minute, but then I was like, oh no, we're doing this today. Like we're keeping that appointment, because if I don't, and what I think back to now is, had I had not listened to myself and pushed it, I was the last surgery my center did before they shut down for COVID. So I would have been pushed out Lord knows how long had I waited. So the fact that I just went ahead and fought myself on it was like, no, you better take that date and keep it moving. So like, yeah, that just like when you were talking about that, that reminded me of the fact that I legit almost was like, yeah, can we just push it like a week so that I can have a potluck at work? Like, listening to it now, it sounds absolutely ridiculous. But that's the bargaining we do with ourselves. It's crazy.
Well, right. Because we know deep down that we are committing to surgery, and we are committing to not only undergoing a procedure that we've never done before. We don't know what life is going to be like on the other end. We don't know what life is going to feel like. Like, there's so much unknown. So our brains are looking for any reason, any excuse, any opportunity for us to be like, oh, I mean, yeah, I think we need to hold back a little bit. And it's like, we just have to talk back to ourselves. We just have to say, I'm committing to surgery. This is when it's happening. I'm going to have surgery, a little bit scared, a little bit worried, a little bit apprehensive, but I'm going to trust my surgeon. I'm going to trust my care team. I'm going to trust the medical, like, this is what I'm doing. We just have to talk back to those voices that are going in the back of our head that are really pushing us to push our date.
Something that I've learned in the BariNation support community is that the food, the events, etc., will always be there. Always. And that's once I really learned that, and I think it was about halfway through my 3-month pre-op process, it really was, the food will be there, the alcoholic beverages will be there, the coffee will be there. This is, like you said at the top, this is a blip in time. Mm-hmm. I remember it very vividly, but it's a blip. I don't think any one of us on this screen in this podcast right now would say like, oh, but I really missed that one White Claw that I didn't drink going out with my family. You know what I mean? Like, no. Do I remember saying no to it? Yes. But I don't miss it, you know? Do I miss having barbecue ribs that my dad made during my pre-op and I started crying? No, I forget about it all the time.
Right.
And I think it's just bringing us back down to reality when our brains start going, racing a million miles a minute.
And when we say, we talk about this all the time in the BariNation membership community, what we're saying is that in our live support groups, classes, and meetups, this is what the conversation is, right? Members are saying, I'm really nervous about having surgery. I don't know if this is the right time. This comes up in conversation. And you are able to kind of talk through this, to walk through this with other people and experts who have been there before or are in the same situation as you. So when we say this all the time in the BariNation membership community, this is what we're talking about. It's you and 15, 16, 17 other people and an expert that are having this conversation. Because I know sometimes it's just hard to conceptualize when we're saying that, but that is how we get through these moments. And I appreciate you saying that, Nat, right? Because when we look back on like, oh, but I'm going to miss out on this, or I'm going to miss out on that. What we say in BariNation is, instead of saying, what am I missing? We say, well, what are you gaining? What are you getting? What are you adding into your life? Right? So sure, you might be missing a celebration in this one singular moment in time, but what you're gaining is a reduction in some of the comorbidities that you're currently experiencing, right? So like, I might have missed a birthday celebration, or I didn't get to celebrate somebody's birthday as I normally did, but what I gained is no more sleep apnea. I don't have to take my sleep apnea machine when I travel with me anymore. I don't have to worry about pre-diabetes. I don't have to worry about not sitting in a chair or not fitting in a chair, or worrying at that celebration that I might bust the chair that I'm sitting in, right? So it might feel like, oh, but I don't get to, something is being subtracted from your life. But really, we need to focus on what we're gaining by treating our disease of obesity, right? This is really a value add question, not the opposite.
Yeah, because last I checked, they didn't stop making ribs, and they don't stop making burgers, and they didn't stop making like all this stuff's still available, and it can still be cooked after the fact. And whether or not you can eat it, that's up to your tummy. However, those things will still be available. The parties are still going to happen. Like bariatric life just becomes life after a while, and it's going to be amazing. You'll just have a little less focus on the food and a little more focus on the people that you're with.
Right. Well, friends, we hope you leave this conversation having a little bit of a deeper understanding about why the right time to have surgery is the time that you choose to have it. Life is going to continue to happen. And instead of thinking about the things that you will miss out on in the pre-op or that early post-op stage, that you shift your mindset and you focus on all of the things that you are going to gain and add into your life after you make the decision to treat the disease of obesity with the most effective tool out there. And that is bariatric surgery, right? We want all of you, we want you to go into your new life on the lighter side, with confidence and with the understanding that life really is grand, big, bold, beautiful after surgery. And you're just not going to know until you're there. And we invite you to join us on that lighter side of life. All right, my friends. Well, what did you think? The answer to our question is there's always a perfect time and there's never a right time to have surgery. If we know that surgery is going to be the treatment option that best suits us, the best time to have it is the time that our surgeon schedules us for. There's always going to be celebration. There's always going to be something to get in the way of that surgery. So if we continue to delay the decision to have surgery, we're just kicking that can down the road, and we continue to delay access to a life-changing treatment. If you have questions about this episode, send us a direct message on Instagram, find us in the BariNation membership community, or send us an email at hello@BariNation.com. We would love to continue to collect these questions that you might have as you go through your pre-op journey and address them on this podcast. It's literally why it exists. If you'd like to become a member of the BariNation community, we would love to support you there. We offer weekly support groups, classes, and meetups that are taught by credentialed experts, people who have years of experience working in bariatric care and medicine, and patient hosts just like myself. And for only $39 a month, which is a little bit more than $1 a day, you can access meaningful care and support when and where you need it, because everything that we offer in BariNation is virtual. Head to barination.mn.co to learn more. And if you found value in this podcast, please consider supporting it every single month. Your monthly contribution ensures that this podcast remains free and accessible to anybody that needs to hear it. And we have a special little thank yous that we'd like to pass along if you do choose to support us. If Jason was here, he would thank you for listening and watching. He would encourage you to like, subscribe, and share this podcast episode. Even leave us a review on your favorite podcast player. And he'd also let you know that at the end of the day, you've got this and we've got you. See you soon, friends.